The Midlands Today Show with Will Faulkner.
Midlands 103.
Now, you've probably heard of method acting, you know, where an actor really immerses themselves in a role to help the character that they portray to make it as realistic and convincing as possible. Well, Eimear Ní Bhraonáin from the Irish Independent must believe in method journalism, because in the frantic weeks leading up to the arrival of US President Barack Obama, she moved lock, stock and barrel to Moneygall. And the result is a new book called Is Feidir Linn, a golden ticket to Moneygall. Now, it was launched last night, and Eimear will be joining us shortly. She's had a little bit of car trouble, so she says. I reckon it's sore head syndrome. But anyway, she'll be here in a moment. Now, she tells the story through words, but equally powerful are the captivating and rich photographs that you will see as you flick through the pages. And I suppose you have to see the book yourself, but there are great people shots. Fair enough, there's scenery as well, but the people shots really capture the mood and the general feeling, which always seems to be happy and positive, and everybody seems in a good mood. The man responsible for these photographs is Jeff Harvey. Jeff, good morning.
Morning, Will. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Did people pose for these, or are they as happy as they seem to be?
They are. It's going back a good few weeks before the 23rd, the 23rd of May there when he arrived, that I went down first. So I initially went down for Dulux to sort of document the paint being put to good use. Dulux put a load of paint down so that everyone could paint up, and I basically went down and I captured it in use. And that's the way, I suppose that's the way I generally do work, especially for the amount of press work we do. It's mainly capturing, it's documenting what's happening, it's reportage, it's reporting on the events and on the people. And that's what the book is trying to do. It's to capture the experience of the build-up of Moneygall and showing the world what a warm and welcoming place it is. And the people, all the people in it, like there was very little posed. To get a couple of really nice key shots for different areas that we did, I did introduce a little bit of lighting and some extra lighting myself, but it was done all very quick, using what was around us and basically capturing people as they are in their homes, warts and all type shot. There's a shot of Henry Healy there on 46, 47. He's holding up his ticket, his ticket number, his golden ticket 001.
001, indeed.
And he's there and it's a very close-up shot to him, and he cringes a little bit on it because it is literally so tight on him. He was after being in Galway, I think, for the weekend. He was out enjoying himself, and he came back then, and he was so accommodating at any stage throughout when we were doing this, that he just said, yeah, no problem. He didn't care that he was out at the weekend. He didn't care he was there. He was talking to people. He was taking pictures with people. He's there. It's a very close-up shot, and a lot of people wouldn't do it.
But people like him and Canon Stephen Neal really had to put their normal lives on hold for that couple of weeks. And we even heard Aisling O'Rourke produced a documentary for us that Henry received some sort of media training to make sure there wouldn't be a faux pas, or that he'd put his foot in it when taking a call from CNN or BBC or whatever. So really, maybe at the start they weren't that media savvy, but they got a crash course in posing and interviewing, and it was all very, very intense for them.
He's a serious quick learner then, because by the time I was meeting them and chatting to them, it was seamless. They were just amazing, and it was for everyone. Like, we went down to a farm. It was really Timmy Talbot's farm. It's back in 2-3 roads down little lanes and that, really in the thick of it. And Timmy didn't get any media training, but he was there. He lifted up this little calf that was named after two Offaly greats, Brian Cowan and Barack Obama. Cowbama is the name of the calf, and he had no media training there. But yet, he was just like Henry. He was accommodating, he was chatting away, and he was just brilliant. and so many people were all the same. I think the whole village must have got media training then.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience.
The book is littered with great photos. I wish you could see them,
Thanks
but
very much.
it's radio, so we'll have to describe them as best we can. But there's a great one on page 1670 of a man walking along the street of Moneygall.
Yeah.
And there's obviously roadworks of some description taking place, and he's walking out around the bollards, and he has his walking stick in his hand, and his back is to the camera. And I'm just wondering if you could put a caption on that. What is that man thinking? Is he bemoaning all the fuss? Has he ever seen Moneygall like that? What would you put in the little speech box if you were to fill it out?
I have no idea, but the reason I shot it was my own internal dialogue on it was life goes on, and there's no footpath there. To describe the shot to people, it's a shot up the street, and the footpath on the right of the picture is closed off. It's getting redone, basically. So there's bollards over it, there's plywood over it, and he's just walking along on the side of the road as if it's the footpath. So my interpretation of the scene was basically this guy. Life goes on, and it turns out that he's a character. I can't remember his name now, but Eimear knows him, because she was living down there. She got to know pretty much everyone down there. But she was describing when we were going through pictures. She nailed it, and she said that picture there has got to go in. This guy is the same routine every day. He tips along and he does his thing, and like so many other guys on that same page, actually. There's Michael Bergen and Joe Tracy. They're the guys that put the effort in with the tidy towns, getting the flowers, getting everything looking fantastic.
There's a bit of product placement for Growwise as well.
Yeah, that was daily life. That's what they use. So I didn't go along and try and hide it or anything. They were there trying to get it sorted. But that was everyday life, and they were there for years. I think they've been doing that, and nothing changed for them, bar there might have been a few extra flowers for them to maintain and keep beautiful.
That bit of clutter you heard in the background, or clatter, that was Eimear Ní Bhraonáin making her stylishly late arrival.
Everybody will think it was because I was out in Ollie's last night. For once, Will, I can honestly say I went to bed early last night because I was absolutely exhausted.
You have had a bit of a nightmare today, haven't you?
Yes, I suffered a puncture, but thanks to some very friendly boys in Rossgrey at the side of the road there, in a tyre place where I got my puncture next to Tesco. I'm just so lucky in being unlucky. Yes, and they were lovely, and we had a great chat about the book at the side of the road, and I think I might have sold a couple of copies. So all's well that ends well.
Anyway, we were just saying at the start that you really took this job seriously. You moved to Moneygall, I suppose in part because it gave you access on the day, and getting access was like finding hen's teeth. But also it gave you an understanding of the people, and you got to know them. Do you miss them now?
I don't, because I'm still there.
Really?
Yes, I'm still there. Now, I
thought you'd moved to Mauritius or something.
I was in Mauritius to cover a very serious story, the murder of Michaela Hart, but I was only in Mauritius for 10 days, and I kept the bedsit. I wanted to keep it until after the 4th of July celebrations. So I'm only going to be moving on in the next... this weekend I'm actually moving out, and I had decided that it was important to celebrate the festival, to finish the job properly, because we weren't just covering. A lot of journalists, and I find I'm guilty of this as well, especially me, it's like hit and run journalism. You do the story and you move on to the next one. That's the nature of the business. It's very demanding. But the beauty of this story is we demanded a lot of time on it, and because of the profile of the story and the interest of the people in a positive story for Ireland, we were able to free ourselves up to cover not just the event, but before the event, the build-up, the event itself, and the aftermath, the economic boom in Moneygall. And that's what we have now. We've a little village in Ireland that is officially a recession-free zone. And I feel that's really important to highlight those things, because I certainly know when I was at a desk in Dublin 12, 13, 14 hours a day, I'd no idea what was going on beyond the M50. And I only wish...
I was going to ask you if there's a moral to the story then.
Yeah, I think the serious, the personal reason I had for doing it was that I'd love to see the media shifting the way that the country is shifting. And I think that the country needs a lift. I certainly needed a lift from covering all the tragedies I've covered over the years. And serious journalism is very important, and we do take that seriously. But I think at a time when the US president, the most powerful man in the world, acknowledged a tiny village in Ireland and acknowledged the Irish lobby and how powerful it is, and we need his help, he needs our help. We have this Feidir Linn attitude, and I think, why not? Why not be positive? Why not highlight it, and why not trumpet ourselves for a while and move with the country and lift the people's spirits a little bit? Everybody needs that. That attitude is Feidir Linn. And I love the story, genuinely love the story.
That was my first remark to Jeff, that if you look at so many of the photos, people are smiling in them. They seem very happy. He has you at a disadvantage because of the old adage, a picture paints 1,000 words. For you, though, talking to people now, it's a month and a half after the event, is there still that residue of positivity and happiness, or is it starting to fade away?
I would say it's not a residue. I would say their lives changed forever on the 23rd of May. I sit in the bedsit having a cup of tea sometimes, and I look out the window because I have a business plan for the book too, because myself and Jeff, we're serious about it and we wanted to do well, but we want to give back at the same time to the community. And I count how many tour buses arrive as part of that business plan in the village every morning. I'm astounded that more Irish people like myself and Jeff aren't looking at the village and looking at how Irish people can put Ireland back on the map. Because, I mean, the visitors that are coming, they're from all over, and I'm delighted to say so many people from Tullamore and from Offaly who never stopped in Moneygall. They're the people I talk to a lot of the time, because a lot of them would hear me on your programme and they'd come and seek me out, and we'd have a cup of coffee in Ollie's. Well,
I was actually about to ask both of you why there are so many pictures in the pub.
It's the heart of the community, and we're often embarrassed about that, and we think it's a bad thing in Ireland. But the fact is, Moneygall is a small village, and where do people in small villages go still? The pub. And it's not as if people fall out of it, but sometimes they do. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is they go in there to talk, to socialise, to have fun, and why not? And to meet their neighbours. And the Barack Obama story, Ollie Hayes, his pub was the centre of every celebration. Super Tuesday, Clara Walsh was often down there, Aisling O'Rourke, on all those key events, and you were there as well. The inauguration, the key events, and that was all through from 2007 onwards. Every hurdle Barack Obama cleared, the locals cleared it with him in Ollie's. And as myself and Jeff will testify, a lot of the time people are in and out of the pub and they're not drinking at all. They're passing through to say hello and to see what's going on.
And the fact that the village is a village, that the pub is in the middle of the village. So if you're at one end of the village shooting down, the pub's going to be in the background. If you're at the other end of the street shooting down, the pub's going to be in the background. A lot happened in and around it because it was a meeting point for people, as Eimear was saying, but it just happened to be there. We didn't, just looking at there, there's actually a lot of stuff on the street. We went up to the national school as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of photos of the kids, and again, the kids invariably are very happy and smiley. And did you get a shot of Shinrone as well?
We did a chapter on Shinrone with Joe Cleary, the school principal. He actually brought me into the classroom, and Will, I learned more from the children in Shinrone than I did in all the interviews, in everything I did. They educated me. They were so clever. I was taken aback, and the same in Moneygall National School with Eugene Ryan. I asked the children, look, I said, I'm doing this book, and I treated them like adults. I was a tough taskmaster. I was their editor. I said, I need poems, I need essays, I need ideas, I need portraits. I asked them questions. I did quizzes with them. They were fantastic. We set up an email address for them to send material to, and the children gave us more than we could ever give. They're so enthusiastic. They told me things I didn't know about Mr. Obama's favourite meal that Michelle cooks him. I said to the kids, how do you know this stuff?
Shrimp linguine.
Google shrimp linguine. Is it, Jeff?
Yeah.
Tell us a few more things that the Shinrone children told us about.
Some of the weird and wonderful things about Barack Obama. He collects Spider-Man comics. He was known as Obama at high school for his skills at basketball, which he's still playing away. This is coming from the children in Shinrone. He likes going to the beach, fishing and body surfing. This is like word for word what we took from Barack Obama. Was a good student and he went to a private school. He had a pet crocodile and a gibbon. I don't even know what a gibbon is. He went to
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Heard of a funky gibbon.
Yeah.
There was a song about a funky gibbon.
A funky gibbon.
do the funky gibbon.
Well, that's well. He probably got there because of the song.
Do you want to sing us a song?
No,
How about
and the poems.
an Obama song? We have loads of those.
There's no one as Irish as
hoarse.
Barack Obama.
Tip off, yeah. Tip off.
I know she says she's hoarse. She admits to that, but she says it wasn't a late night. Something doesn't gel. there.
You know, I was shouting and giving out a lot. Jeff will
course
tell you
you
about
were.
that. I'm fierce bossy, aren't I, Jeff?
Orders.
Yeah.
We've talked about the young people. We've talked about some of the characters who put themselves front and centre for the media. One lady who I think is great is Julia Hayes. Julia is 80.
Yeah.
And for those of you who think that maybe you're getting on in the years and you should slow down and maybe sit back, relax and retire, Julia might make you think twice. She had intended retiring at her 80th birthday, but no longer.
That's right. Julia, she actually invited us to her 80th birthday. She's a lady. I absolutely adore her. You know, the first thing she did when I came to the village, brought me inside her home. Would I like some dinner? Would I like some tea? Anything I needed. She said, just call over because I was across the road. And she told me about how when she was a young girl, she came to Moneygall and she loved that I loved the village and said, you know, it was kind of like she was letting me know that it's tough in a village when you're not originally from a village.
When you're a blow-in.
Yeah, and she was only from Shinrone, but she said people in Moneygall adopted her, and she said they're lovely and they'll be the same with you. But if you need any advice, any help, or a cup of tea, a chat, a drink, just come and see me or Joe. And she's such a lady. And she was very moved by Jeff's photographs, and we did an exhibition inside the tent because we understand that the book is expensive, it's a collector's item, and we don't expect everybody to buy it. So what we did was we gave villagers who approached us a free photograph, the villagers who were inside the book. We did a nice photo for them, and we blew up beautiful pictures inside the marquee, and one of them was of Julia. And Julia is so hard-working that she couldn't actually come to the launch because she was keeping her pub running last night for her regular customers. And but she came into the marquee before the event started, and she was so delighted, wasn't she, Jeff, with the photograph?
Yeah, I was hanging the pictures. They were big,
Is this the photograph?
That's the print,
That's it.
yeah.
She's
Behind
standing
the bar.
behind the bar, towel in hand.
Smiling. She looks like a Hollywood actress.
She's amazing with the tea towel in her hand, the hunky dory's box of crisps on the back, and the little keg under the bar, the typical old small pub. Then all the drinks on the mirror behind the counter, and just a big beaming, welcoming smile out of her. And when she came in, I was hanging the prints. They're big, 3 foot by 2 foot prints. And we're hanging them in the marquee yesterday, and she came in, and I brought her over to her straight away, and her face lit up, and then I got her delighted.
That's hugely rewarding.
And that's what it means to me, is to see the joy and happiness that pictures bring to people. It was just amazing, and I can't wait to see everyone. And even last night when we were going out, Henry Healy's house is beside Ollie's house, and there's a little window that you can't happen to look in when you're passing by, and it's the kitchen table. And late last night we were finishing up, we were packing up, and we were just making sure everyone was looked after and everyone was happy. And I was walking by the window, and I don't know who it was one of Henry's sisters or family or
I'd
mother
say
or
it
something.
was Avril, probably.
Avril sitting there, and the lights were down low, and she was there flicking through the book, and that made it for me. That was it. That's when I said, this is it. I'm happy when I see that in her own time, sitting there enjoying the book, slowly, really slowly going through the pictures, bending down really slow, seeing the detail in the shots and seeing who's in the crowds, because there's just so many people in it.
Is it really just a book for people in the village to pick themselves out, or will it have a broader appeal?
Both. The village, it documents it for them. It helps them relive it, and in doing that, it also lets the whole world see, not just the day that was on the news, that was on the TVs, the day that Barack Obama came, but the build-up, the people,
It's
the
very
schools.
personalised. I like the way, actually, Will, you said something about being an actor getting into a role, and I had never even thought about that till you said it initially on your programme a few weeks ago, I think, just before the visit. And I didn't realise, but even look at how I'm dressed now. I'm wearing an Obama t-shirt, I have a hat on. Everybody in the village will tell you, I used to wave at the Secret Service, the CIA. I was in costume all the time, and I did become a villager. And myself and Jeff invested so much emotion and personality into the story.
I think you have to. You have to get absorbed into the atmosphere if you're going to portray it properly.
Yeah, because
and the two of you have done an exceptional job in doing that.
The people were so good. We wanted to give them something that they could have forever. So when you asked there about the book, I think the book it's a gift to the people of Moneygall that they can have forever, that they worked hard with us on. But it's also for Irish Americans abroad, it's their golden ticket to Moneygall, because not everybody had one on the day.
It's great to see so many people happy. It's a tonic in itself, even just scanning through the pages. I'm trying to find, though, the photo of Obama in the pub, and it was one that I don't think was used in the national papers, at least I don't recall seeing
62,
it.
63.
63. And it's just almost a behind-the-scenes look. It's that little bit less formal than some of the other photos. There's nothing posed about it.
I wasn't actually there on the day. I was sick. I had a bug and I couldn't venture too far. But what I did do was, there's two guys, Pat Cleary and Kevin Byrne. Pat Cleary's down in Burr and Kevin Byrne in Mount Mellick, two local photographers, and they were there on the day in the pub. And I said, look, I'm not going to detract from this story by only using my pictures. And I called out to them and said, look guys, I'm doing this book. There's only, I think, 4 pages out of the 80 dedicated to Obama on the day. There's only 2 pages dedicated to the pub, to that day, with the having the pints and having the crack, meeting everyone in the pub. And we got Pat Cleary and Kevin Byrne. They supplied us with a couple of pictures from the day, and they were different shots, and that's what I loved. They were more natural, and they showed the emotion more than, no offence to the other guys, but it's a different style. From a local photographer's point of view, you're showing it from a different angle, and that's why I love to have those guys' pictures in it.
They're not official pictures. They're not PR photos for the White House. And there's nothing wrong with PR photos for the White House. It's just that these photographs, and the point of view that I needed to be a villager because Jeff trained me up to shoot from the side that the people were on, so that Barack's arms were coming in instead of being with the reporters and getting his back. I wanted to see him coming in towards me, and that was the whole point, that he was more natural. And none of these pictures of Barack Obama are posed or approved by anyone. They're just him.
The pictures you see in the papers are usually the strongest shot, because only one picture will generally make it, and that big strong shot is the one. And like even the White House photographer and all the other guys that were there, they'll have all these other shots as well, but we just were able to use them basically because we had the pages to show with the bit of crack, Henry having a chat, shots that aren't front page shots but yet have more meaning in ways, because you have Henry casually chatting with Michelle and Obama, and Barack is looking away, and Peter Orman standing in behind him there. Barack's looking away as if he's just about to start chatting with someone else. Really casual. Like, artistically, the pictures are sound, they're there, but it's what's happening in them, the content of them, is the connection.
Guys, where can this be bought?
We actually, because of our day jobs, it's funny, but this is a real DIY effort, so we haven't had time to stock it in all the bookshops. So what we decided was we would keep it local. It's a local story, but anyone who wants to buy it can go on to the website, themoneygallbook.com. But other than that, anyone in the Midlands can buy it, because it will be in shops in the Midlands. We're starting by the first edition. We're just going at the moment with News and Views in Rossgrey, and they have a shop in Tullamore, and they have a shop in Nina as well. And also, we're everybody in Moneygall is going to stock it. But other than that, we haven't decided to go into any shops at the moment. It's really it's going to be sold out by the middle of next week, since we were only able to print 3,000 first edition books.
Okay, well, if you have relatives or you have friends in the States and you're scratching your head wondering what you're going to send them for Christmas this year, good suggestion. The Moneygallbook.com is where you'll get more information. Eimear Ní Bhraonáin, Jeff, Harvey, thank you both very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Will.